Welcome into another edition of the Friday 5 Q&A. We have with us Paige and Ryne Iseminger. Did I say that right?
Close.
Iseminger. That's right. See, I knew I'd always screw it up. You can go back and watch all the other episodes. Right before the record button goes on, I'm fine. Right after, not so much. We have Paige and Ryne from Freshie Tequila Seltzer on to talk about their really cool product and also just how they got into this crazy business. Paige, Ryne, welcome in.
Thank you so much.
Now, my first question is, did this really originate as a hair of the dog cocktail that you, Ryne, made for Paige?
Are we telling that side of the story today, Paige?
Yes, it is. So to give you a little background information, so my family has been going to Mexico since I was a baby, literally 1 year old. I've been going 1, 2 times, sometimes 3 times a year. It is our home away from home. And usually we go and we're there for a little over a week or more. We have friends and family that visit us. We also have friends and family down there too. And we're on about day 8, day 9 of a family trip. And yeah, I had one too many heavy beers and sugary margaritas. Probably could not get out of bed the way I normally do. And let's be real, I am like the life of the party. So they need me. So Ryne kind of went upstairs and made this concoction, which is now what is called a Freshie. And he pretty much was using everything that we already had in our kitchen. It was all organic. It was organic sparkling water, organic limes, organic tequila, and organic agave nectar. And he made this, what he was calling it actually then was tequila water. And he gave it to me, and it was the most refreshing, delicious drink. And before we knew it, everyone was drinking it. And then fast forward 4 years later, and Ryne pretty much just never came out of the kitchen and stopped making Freshies.
My hands. It takes fresh limes. Yeah. So ever since that trip, we came home and it kind of really stuck with our friends and family. And we love to barbecue. We love, we don't get many days in Chicago, but we love Florida. But pool days, beach days, it's great for that too. But I always had to squeeze the limes by hand, and it became a sticky situation, if you will. Like my fingers are cramping up. If we forget the lime squeezer, it's a rough day for me. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Because our friends, we don't just drink a little bit of tequila. I mean, once we get going, we get going. So I pretty much lost him, like I said, for 4 years, because he was in the kitchen, because no one can make a Freshie like how Ryne can.
Well, and I was going to say, what made you then decide to, go from a cocktail creation to, what it is now in a nice can?
I love to see that you got it.
Yeah. So, I mean, how did that come about? Or why did you guys decide to go that route?
So there's a lot of different things that kind of came into it. Paige and I are entrepreneurs in trade, and we come from a branding and marketing background. Also, Paige's dad also is a designer, and architect, and entrepreneur as well. So we kind of had these synergies of like branding and all these different things that encourage us. We always are watching Shark Tank and stuff like that. But basically, entrepreneurism and building a business is in our blood. Like, we can't help ourselves. But that wasn't really what started Freshie evolving. It was more like truly an organic thing, where it became such a staple with our friends and family that it just became a thing. And everyone started calling me or texting me, and they'd be like, "Hey, I'm doing a Taco Tuesday," or "Hey, I'm having a party. Can you send me your Freshie recipe?" And I would tell everybody, get a big bag of limes. You never have enough limes. Get some good Blanco tequila and your sparkling water and all that stuff. But everyone would then send me pictures like, "Mine's not as good as yours. What did I do wrong? I think I did too much tequila." Or other people would be like, "Oh, well, I didn't see that many good limes, so I just bought one of those like plastic limes with the lime juice in there."
Never do that.
And I'm like, you can't do that. So there's all these things, and everyone's like bummed that they couldn't make a Freshie like me. And also I was like, my hands. No, but it really just kept growing. And then our wedding was coming up, and that was one of the big motivators, where like we see all this stuff happening in the seltzer category, just in regular seltzers. It was kind of before hard seltzers were taking off, but this is when LaCroix had like a cult following, and it was like the seltzer. I'm like, see, something's happening with sparkling waters, and something's happening with tequila. So maybe we're actually onto something. And then what we do best is we come up with a crazy dream. Let's try to figure out how we could can this up and serve it at our wedding. And obviously that's just was a small goal to kind of put a little pep in our step to try to do something crazy. But really that got the ball rolling to do the brand and get it to where it is today. And we learned so much on the way, and we are graced and blessed to have partnered with a 4th generation distillery out of Mexico that could take my handmade recipe and turn it into something that could be produced for the masses, but in a great way.
And so were you able, Paige, to have that set at your wedding?
Yeah, so we actually were able to have the like actual Freshies in a can. Unfortunately, we did not know exactly how long this would take to actually bring to reality and have a physical can in front of us. We just thought, if we partnered with a distillery and they believed in everything that we believed in, that we could actually bring this creation to life, that it would happen like that. We were so wrong. It took almost 4 years for it to actually come to life and to be a product and to see it in person. So no, we didn't have the actual can at our wedding, but we did go through, an unbelievable amount of tequila for only an 80-person wedding, and people only drank Freshies the entire night. So that was like the moment when everyone was like, I don't really like tequila, or I don't really like seltzers. Hearing everyone say that, but yet no one ordered anything else besides a Freshie, I was like, okay, so we might be onto something. But Ryan, actually, right when we got to our venue, in his tux and all, he went straight to the bar and made the very first Freshie for all of our bartenders and taught them exactly how to make them. And they did an amazing job, by the way. They actually were a close second to Ryan. Unlike me, I just cannot make a good Freshie like how he can. But yeah, so we kind of taught them how to make it, and then the rest was history. And then when we literally left our like wedding that week, we were just so inspired, and we were like, we have to make this happen. No matter what happens, we have to go forward with this and make it a reality.
I was gonna say, you talked a little bit about it, that it was not an easy reality. I mean, how difficult was it to get it right to go in a can? Because it's a little different when it has to go in here, have a stable shelf life. I mean, what was all of that like?
It was hard.
It was hard. And we've had lots of different little dreams crushed and different little ideas. Like at first we're like, oh, it'd be cute for Freshie to come in like a little red stripe bottle or something like that. And then we learn about, with light going through glass and tequila and trying to be organic, it just would be impossible to come in a glass bottle. So really that's when we realized it had to be a can. And then also that's when White Claw and Truly and all these other hard seltzers started coming out. So it's like, oh, everyone's going in cans and slim cans specifically. And that's one thing that we felt was cool for Freshie, is that since we are trying to be a lower calorie and wellness driven drink, the slim can kind of insinuates that, if you will, and makes you think that it's lighter as a cocktail.
But that was a whole nother issue of itself. So not only was it just so hard to figure out this drink, we're like how he was saying, we're like, hey, everyone's kind of doing it. Everyone's kind of making the seltzer, but what people weren't doing is they weren't using real ingredients. They weren't using organic ingredients. They were using a lot of artificial ingredients and added sweeteners and all of those things to get it down to that 99 calories or less. We're thinking it can't be that hard. Well, it was very, very, very hard. And there was times that almost were like, this actually is not going to come to life. It's actually not going to come to the market, because there were so many obstacles that we had to get across, but we did it, and we powered through, and we did the impossible. And then we finally launched about January 2021 of this year. So it was definitely hard, but the one thing Ryan and I were not willing to sacrifice was it being fully organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, and then the fully sustainable and distilled. That was just so important to us that we were not going to cut any corners to get there. And if we could not make the drink exactly how we wanted it to be, which was fully organic, then we were never going to come out with it. So by the grace of God, we got it all figured out at late of 2020, I think it was, and we were at the door by January. And that was a whole nother issue, with launching in the pandemic, because since 2016, planning this dream of ours, we never thought that the year of the Freshie launch, that the whole world was going to be shut down, and all the restaurants and the bars and all of that. But there was one thing, and that was that no one, everyone started to drink more during the pandemic. So if there was one thing that we had going for us, it was that people were at home and drinking and on the web and just trying to find their next drink. But there definitely was a lot of obstacles that we had to come across.
Well, you mentioned too, you talk about being non-GMO, gluten-free, sustainability, sustainably farmed, distilled. Why was that so important to you all?
That's stuff that is so passionate to us. I mean, it really comes down to the basics of caring about what you put in your body and caring about the earth. And I know that's becoming like a trend or whatever, but it's something that Paige and I have been passionate about since college. And since I hope even before that, but it's really been evolving over time. And Paige and I like to work out. We like to drink, and we're not trying to hide that this is our lifestyle, that we might, work hard in the gym, work hard in the office, but we also want to go out and have some fun too. And if that's part of your lifestyle, why stop at having organic chicken and broccoli for dinner and then going on and just doing whatever you want with your alcohol of choice? If you could tie in and marry these type of thoughts or lifestyles, it only can benefit us. I mean, I get that alcohol, we can't say it's healthy or anything like that, which we're not trying to say that, but we're trying to use more premium ingredients that are not only organic, but produced in a sustainable way. So it's like guilt-free inside your body, guilt-free for the earth, as much as possible, at least. And so we always like to say that, on the front end, we're bright, fun packaging and we want to make organic cool and not seem like we have our nose up in the air or too good for anybody. It's accessible for everybody to drink Freshie and have premium ingredients that are organic as well. But what's so amazing is on the back end, we're doing so many things to try to make this product in a good way. From our distillery is fully solar powered. They like to say we're 103% solar powered because they actually give energy back to Mexico. Inside the distillery, it's zero waste. So they don't waste a single part of the agave plant. So when they're going through the production process, the agave plant is pressed and steamed and all these different things. And they save all of the pulp and all of the piña leftovers, even down to the liquids that are squeezed out of it. And all that goes to the compost site. It gets turned into the organic soil that is then used in the agave fields, which is full circle sustainability. It's so cool too, seeing it in person. And one of my favorite things is like, we have all these, like cool videos or beautiful agave field photos on our Instagram and stuff. But the clips that got the most interaction from our followers and stuff was like the cranes and the sustainability part of it, where it showed the compost site. And Paige's dad was like, I'm shocked we have all these cool photos, but everybody's like commenting about the dirt. Like, let's get some more footage of this dirt here. But, it's just amazing because this is in Mexico, our distillery, they don't have this on their website. They don't market this stuff. It's not meant to be like a way to, not like a cash grab or like a tactic for marketing. It's just what they believe is the right thing to do, which is one of the things that brought us together at the beginning of our partnership, is because we're so psyched about their solar panels and that they're organic and stuff. And the youngest son, Gabriel, he was like, my family thought I was crazy trying to be solar powered, but see, it's the future. And we're like, that's exactly, and this is like our biggest dream, is like, we want to make this delicious cocktail. We want to make it convenient for people to drink it too. But if we could do it on an elevated level, as far as being like, I know we're going to say this 100 times, organic, and then also sustainable, that's stuff that we could only dream of. But without our distillery planning ahead and being the innovators that they are, it wouldn't have been possible. It'd just be two kids dreaming of a utopian tequila drink. You know what I mean?
And Big Bev really just doesn't care about that, really. They don't care about coming out with better for you option. They don't really care about necessarily, being fully sustainable and distilled, about the environment. They just think about sales and money. And from being like the small guys, family owned, if we can make any kind of impact, in this industry, then we're doing something right. If we can get some kind of eyes on us to, for people to realize that, this is what people should be following. They should be eating all organic and non-GMO. It shouldn't be something that's so expensive or you need to go to Whole Foods to get. It needs to be more of the norm. And Big Bev and the people with the big, deep pockets, they need to be following this because they can truly, help make a better world for all of us if they just cared about these little things. So like I said, if we can get anyone to start buying Freshies or start buying a little bit more organic and just kind of make it more cool, then I think we're doing something right.
Yep. And at the end of the day, the world has plenty of tequila, plenty of seltzer, sparkling water, beers, whatever it may be. But we weren't here just to come out with another product just for convenience or taste. We're here to come out with something that can satisfy all the basic needs of being delicious and refreshing, all that stuff, but also have a more thoughtful back end. That really is part of Freshie. When you're buying into like the Freshie Tequila brand, you're buying into quality and organic, but you're also buying in to being family owned and actually caring about how stuff is produced beyond the norm.
Well, and then, my last question for y'all is, what's it been like to launch something like this during when you guys decided to launch during a pandemic? I mean, you're still, yes, it's a little different now than it was maybe at the beginning, but it's still not like everything's back to normal. And there's other issues that have popped up from supply chains, all that fun stuff. So what's it been like on this journey?
Oh, it's been a roller coaster ride. We've gone through every emotion in the book, from being ecstatic and so proud of ourselves and so excited, to being scared and worried and just not knowing, where this is going to lead to. But at first it was good and bad launching during a pandemic. Obviously, we're from Chicago. Our town, our state was 100% shut down, no bars, no restaurants. And here we are coming out with a product that people need to try and actually liquid to lips and see if they actually like this drink, and then they're going to go support it. So that was really hard, getting people to trust us as this new brand and knowing what a Freshie really tastes like. Luckily, we target all the like smaller mom and pop stores at the very beginning of our launch, and they really kind of brought us in as family. And they're like, listen, we know that you guys are kind of going after the impossible, going after the big guys, and we want to support you and see what happens. And what did happen was people throughout the pandemic became more health conscious than ever before. They wanted to know, what am I putting in my body? Not only that, but bars and restaurants, they used to not really carry as many seltzers and canned cocktails because it's way cheaper for them to just make a drink and give it to you. But because we were in a pandemic and people were more weary about ordering drinks, a lot of bars and restaurants brought us in that we never ever thought that they would. And by them bringing us in, it really helped with then off premise, getting into grocery stores and bigger chains, and people just starting to know about us. And we are in a very, very crowded marketplace, but Freshie is the world's first organic tequila seltzer. So by us just being that way, and people started to be like, oh, a new seltzer, but it's organic, but it's tequila, it's spirit based. So more eyes kind of got open, and people really want to try it. And Chicago really was unbelievable to us during these last 8 or 9 months. They really have brought us like family. We're now over 800 accounts here. We just then launched in all of Georgia, in Nashville, and we're hopefully going to go to Florida Q1 of next year. So, we really gained a lot of momentum here during a time that was scary as hell, but we powered through, and now we have 2 new flavors coming out in February of next year, plus our own tequila called Authentico by Freshie. So we're very grateful for where we are, and we're just going to keep plowing forward and hopefully take this industry, and just do what we can, So it's crazy. It's a crazy world that we're living in right now. But hey, a little bit of tequila never hurts. So
That's right.
that helps.
No, I love all of that. You can find out more about them at getfreshie.com and on social media at Freshie Tequila. Paige, Ryan, thank you so much for chatting with us and just kind of showing this crazy journey and such a cool product. I got to try it, really enjoyed
Thank you
it.
so much.
Nice and refreshing. So thanks for being with us.
Well, thanks for having us.
Well,
We
thank
really
you.
appreciate it. And we love talking with you.